How you doing, everybody? This is Frank with Frankly Horse Racing, and today we're going to do the Kentucky Oaks, and I'm going to go over the Beyers numbers, as you can see off the racing form here, and then I'll also do the Timeform US numbers. And what I did here was I went, and what I normally do is find basically the demarcation line of who fits, who's improving, and who's reached numbers already that others haven't. Some horses have run really well, but they just haven't had a good enough number to get, I think, to the level to win. Now, things happen in horse racing. You've got speed duels, pace fall apart. Track might be playing front, track might be playing back. You might have a jockey making stupid decisions, or I shouldn't say stupid. A lot of times, it's tough. They're making split decisions. But what this is designed to do is just to show you who's improving, who's reached the top. I color coded them so green, when I highlight the Beyers, means they're in the top. They're in the top. I think I have them between three levels. So let's say I have a 120 Beyer number. It'd be a 120, a 119, 118, or somewhere in there. Yellow will be the next grouping, who's pretty close, but they don't have the top numbers. And then orange, or rust, whatever that color is. I think it's closer to orange. Those are the next step down. If I haven't color coded any of them, to me, they're just so far away that stuff happens like Rich Strike. You never know. Or Mind That Bird, who ended up being a pretty good horse. But that's not what today's video is. Now, you'll see where my mouse is over here on the right, this 169. These are numbers. My dad got me into the races a long time ago. He's taught me more than anybody I know about this stuff. And in the late 70s, he designed his own speed figures. So it's pretty old school. But I wrote this thing up and got it ready and mocked it because I'm sending it over to him. So those numbers will be there. So if you're wondering what these numbers are, that is what I'm showing. If there's a dot like you see next to this 169, that just means it's at the distance that they're currently running today. If there's a number and it doesn't have a dot, these are biz speed ratings, then that is a number they ran, but not at this distance. So let's get into this so we don't make a crazy long video. This is not who I'm giving you my final picks. This is, well, maybe I will. We'll see. This isn't what I was going to do in this show, but hey, by the numbers, we may just do it anyway. So let's get into it. So early on, to me, is just the best numbers. A 79 on the Beyer scale. As you can see over here, this bluer line I put is last year. Horses that take big jumps from 2 to 3 are the ones that are going to be real competitive today. Normally, if they haven't stepped up and ran faster in their 3-year-old career, then they're not on the improve. This one really has jumped up quite a bit from their prior number, but it's just not competitive at a 79. She always runs. She always comes. She could have a chance, but to me, she doesn't have the color. So we're just looking for colors now. Simply Joking. I'm not sure why I put this X here. It was something to remind me of something, but, the chemo brain. But anyway, so we've got a yellow here on Simply Joking, an orange, and then a green. So she has reached into that top tier number. And the other thing I like about her is if you look right here, I put an arrow. Every single race she's run, she has stepped up that number. So to me, that's what we want to see, and we're looking Beyer-wise. She has not yet run the 1.125 distance, so her numbers over here on my dad's ratings are much better than early on, but we don't have one at the distance. So normally in that case, I'll just see what their top number is, and can I project them to go that far. Number 3 is Fondly. Fondly, again, I have no color code on Fondly. Irad's one of my favorite jockeys, and there's good talk about this horse, but to me, she's just not fast enough, and by the Beyers numbers, she's not fast enough. By the biz speed rating, she's not fast enough. The Tampa 7 furlong number usually comes back a little bit higher on my dad's numbers, and usually it's because there's a longer run up on 7 furlongs. So to me, Fondly, I don't see it. Drexel Hill, best number is an 82. Ran last year, as you can see. and she has taken a jump up, but her best number Beyer wise is 82. She's got to improve. I think she will improve. Is it good enough to win? My money says no. And my dad's numbers also say no. May as well put Pops in there and talk about his numbers, right? Uh, quick, quick kick. I mean, anybody can take a quick look and see that these Beyers, let me get this up where you can see, are pretty consistent with what she was last year. And they're good numbers, but they're not good enough to win to me in this race. She hasn't improved. She stayed about the same, and the best number of my dad's is just not competitive. This one kind of surprised me. Ballerina de Oro. Her best number was last year at Aqueduct, which was an 87. This year she is on the improve with a 75 and a 79 with a Beyer speed rating. However, that's still just not fast enough. I honestly thought her numbers would be faster. To me, it's hard to say no on a Pratt and a Brown combination. They're pretty darn good over the years, and Brown never brings a horse in short. I think that horse has to improve to have a chance for the win here. Lacara, she's got a yellow this year, an 88, so we can see that she's improved. Her Tampa race at a mile 40, that was a big number by my dad's, but that's kind of a skewed number. Their mile 40s are always a bit higher, and I usually drop 8 to 10 points off my dad's number on that to make it where it's at. And if I do, it kind of falls in with what Lacara did last time on a 184 with my dad's numbers, and she's on the improve with an 88 Beyer speed figure, which puts her just a tick right behind the top numbers. So I put a mark on Lacara right here, so to remind me talking to you that she's not only on the improve, she's run a good enough number that she can win this. And at Keeneland, it looks like the racing form and Timeform both show that whole day as a closing day. So she held on pretty good there. I think she's improving. I think Lacara, by her numbers, shows she's got a good chance. 5G. 5G is improving. She's padded or kept two numbers pretty close and then took a step forward in the last race to a 90. Now, it was a pretty easy lead. The fractions weren't crazy fast. She does over here, I kind of circled it, it's hard to read, have a back in the day the Tomlinson. She's got a really good Tomlinson for the distance, so it says she should be able to go pretty far. I think she's going to be competitive. Her numbers say she absolutely has a chance to win, so I would not throw this horse out. She was beat by Quiet Side, but again, that was her second race. This is her third race. She's showing me improvement. That one definitely has a chance to win. Tenma, she's got a green and an orange, so she's in the top tier with one race at Santa Anita. It was a very nice race, very short field. There was 3 horses, and it was at a mile, and she was able to get out there and cruise. To me, I think the number's a little bit overinflated. She took a big step backwards in her next out. Kind of reminds me, and it's a baffler horse, it kind of reminds me a lot of Citizen Bull if you look at the pattern. Took a step back. The whole question is, do you think she's going to bounce back and improve her Beyers? If she does, she's got a shot in this race. I think that I like her for maybe a trifecta, superfecta, but we're looking at the Beyers, and the Beyer said if she bounces back, she has a chance in this race. Take Charge, Milady. I put another X here to remind me to talk about it. She had a little trouble last race. She is dealing with a foot issue, as McPeak has talked about. I needed her to win last time she ran it. She was a key for me in a pretty nice horizontal. She didn't get up. Lacara held on, did well. I think if Take Charge, Milady could have got started sooner on a Keeneland track that usually favors speed, even though it was a closing day, she could have won it. But it was a heck of an effort. She's improving. She's at an 86. She's a couple clicks below the top numbers, which are about a 90 to 88 to a 90, 91 area. But if she takes another step forward and her foot's okay, there's enough speed in this race that she absolutely has a chance. All right, so good cheer. I really didn't think by looking at the reviews of the last race that her numbers would be as solid as they are. And she's taken a lot of flack for her numbers not taking big step forwards, or she's not dominating number wise to these fields. But if you look at her Beyers, my friends know me, I'm not huge on Beyers, but I don't dislike them. I like them better on dirt than turf. But if you look at her Beyers, she was solid as a 2-year-old, and as a 3-year-old, she's only taken a little step forward, but she's only run 2 races, and she's improved each race, and she's definitely got 2 top-tier numbers. She's on the improve. By Dad's numbers, let's call Pops out here. I circled them because she's got the most consistent and the highest numbers. So I didn't think I was going to see this, but she absolutely, by Beyer's numbers, is the one to beat. Anna's Promise is improving. She's got 2 orange, which is the 3rd tier, so just a little bit lower, within about 8 points of the top number at 91. But can she take a big enough jump to get there? I like her, lower on the tickets, but I tell you what, you've got a horse that has improved every single race since she hit the track. So Anna's Promise is moving up very nice. She ran okay last time too, and kept close in her Beyer while losing her Lasix. She's going to want to be in the front. She's coming from the outside. So I don't like her to win, but I do think she's improving, and she could surprise in this race by the numbers. If you're looking at the numbers, Blessed This Broken, to me, by the numbers, she'd have to take such a big jump Beyer wise, and by my father's numbers, that I don't really think she's got a chance. Quiet Side's another one that I really like that has jumped. You can see that she went from a 75 to an 86 to a 91, which is tied for the top number in her 3 races out this year. And if you look at her races, she is running better. She's getting quite a bit better. She could have easily quit against Simply Joking last time, who's another improving horse, and she didn't. So by the Beyers numbers, if we're going by the color code, the winner should come from Quiet Side, Good Cheer, who I'm putting on top by the Beyers numbers, and then the one Take Charge Lady. Again, I think she's got a chance. Speed could set up, but she's never run fast enough to win this. The beautiful thing about 3-year-olds is they're improving. Tenma, I honestly don't know what to think about her. My gut says her 2 big numbers are overinflated, and that she can't win this race. Maybe hit the board. That's just my gut. Whatever you're feeling and thinking, you got to believe you before you believe anybody else. All right, 5G. Look, numbers say 5G's got a shot. So 5G's in my top tier. And then Lakara's improving into it also. I think, except for the 2, Simply Joking, that's it. So those are your horses that are improving into it. So if we look at the top Beyers numbers that are improving, if you're going horizontal, myself, I'm going to go deep. I'm going to on one ticket, and then I'm going to single on another. So I'm going to use the 2, Simply Joking, improving into it. It's going to be in a speed duel, so you got to see how the track's playing as the day goes on. Lakara is one that also is a front-end horse, but improving. So are they going to beat each other up, or are they going to get out there and cruise on a simple lead? 5G, you can't throw out, improving. Okay, coming from Gulfstream, got to the lead at Oaklawn. She tried to go to the lead. Quiet Side ran her down. So as much as I like 5G improving, I would use them in the horizontal that I'm saying, but I wouldn't put her on top. I think I'm leaving Tenma out of my horizontal. Take Charge Milady, because I liked her so much last time. I can't give up on her. I'm going to sneak her in a deep horizontal. And then Good Cheer is my top pick, Beyer-wise. The consistency shows me that you got to beat her. Can she lose? Absolutely. These other horses, a couple of them have the same numbers. But I think you got to beat her because she's been the most consistent. And then Quiet Side. So if you're asking my opinion on the Beyers numbers, I'm going with Quiet Side under Good Cheer, and then I'll just put Simply Joking and Lakar in there. So my trifecta looks like this. I'm going to key the 11 over the 7, 14, and then the 2, 8, 9, 10. But again, I feel like any one of these 3 can win the race on top. So That is by the Beyers. You know what? While I'm here, if I can bring it up, we're going to take a quick look at the Timeform US. I know this is getting long. So again, we're just looking for patterns, okay? So let's take a look at the patterns. Simply joking, what a great pattern. Every single race, just like with the Beyers, has improved, and she's into the green level, the 112. So even though she has faced quiet side, got ran down, these are 3-year-old horses. They're improving, and her number says you got to use her. Fondly, not fast enough to me. Drexel Hill, not fast enough to me by Timeform. I forgot to look at the top. So it is showing on the Timeform pattern that they're looking at a pretty fast pace, and then the rest are strung out. Okay, let's get back into this quickly. The 7 Lacara, a 113. So she's in the green, and she had a green last year. So this is when I told you by the numbers, even with Beyer, she's improving. Let's look at Simply Joking again. She got a 112 finishing second, and Lacara got a 113 winning. I tend to lean with a horse that's right there. If you're 1 point, 1 point's nothing, and the horse that finished second, I might even give that two a little bit of a lean on these two. 5G, another great pattern. Look at 5G. Every single race by Timeform, and I think on the Beyer side, she has improved. So even though a lot of folks, and myself included earlier, said she got an easy lead, the numbers say she has a chance. These races are pretty close, right? And again, here's what we talked about on the same thing on Beyers. Tenma had 2 races that really would put her in contention here, but all the rest just aren't fast enough. I'm going to say that she's just not fast enough to win this race at this time. I might get burnt because she's got a green number, but that's what I'm saying. Good Cheer, the overwhelming favorite. If we look at this, Beyers showed her tied for the top. This one here actually has her a little lower than the 2 and Lacara, but she's winning so easily. She's won every race. She's run at Churchill Downs, and she is running faster than she did at her 2-year-old career. To me, they got to beat her. Have other horses run faster there this year? It looks like it. But to me, you've got to beat her. Anna's Promise has a 110, the same as Good Cheer, and she's improving. But to me, that was such a huge jump. Just a huge jump on the Timeform side that repeating that is going to be very tough. Here's another one, Bless the Broken. Huge jump, but that was on the polysynthetic. And I just don't see a repeat on that. Quiet Side, another great pattern. She has improved each race this year. She's up to a 113. She's actually tied for the top number on the Timeform pattern. And then from there, then you're going to have to handicap and say, okay, well, do I like the Oaklawn numbers better than the Santa Anita numbers, or how that works? With this today, we're just looking at patterns, right? Who we think has a chance. So this is telling me the exact same thing as we were seeing on the Beyer side. Quiet Side, you absolutely better use. Good Cheer, you absolutely better use. Again, Quiet Side and a couple others have run faster by the Timeform number, but you've got to beat her. She's winning by open lengths. So to me, she's still got quite a bit more in the tank that she can go farther. Not Tenma. 5G's is improving quite a bit. She's tied for the top number. I don't like her for the win, but you have to use her somewhere. Lacara, same thing, top number. She took a pretty sizable jump. I love her improve, but that's a pretty sizable jump in the Ashland. Do you think she can repeat that again? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Man, I think she's going to run good again. Do I think she can turn 2 races back to back after a big jump like that for the win? I don't think so. I don't. But she's going to be in there somewhere on trifecta, superfectors. I actually would lean simply joking over this. But to me, the 11 and the 14 and then the 2 are my top ones. The 11, Good Cheer, still improving, winning by open lengths. Doesn't have the top numbers, but in the green, she's within a couple points of the top number. And Quiet Side, to me, just keeps getting better. These aren't huge jumps, but they're good enough jumps, improving each race that I think she could be very tough here. So it's the 11 and the 14 for me on the Timeform side. and then and then the 2. Those are, if I went horizontal in Timeform, that's what I'd use. So anyway, so it doesn't get even longer and babbling more. This is the Kentucky Oaks. We did this on the Timeform side. Their AI is predicting the 14, 2, and 8. They don't even have the favorite in there, the 11, but I think she'll be there. If we jump back to the daily racing forum showing the Beyers numbers, the top numbers, and the improving horses, again, we talked about that, are the same ones, basically. 5G, how big a jump do you think she'll take? That was 6 points. I don't think she can get any higher. Lacara, very big jump. I don't think she can repeat to win, but she's definitely going to be tough. I love the improvement on the 2. And I think you got to beat Simply, or a Good Cheer. It's 11 and 14 to me, with others that have a chance. So anyway, we'll do this also for the Kentucky Derby, maybe later today or tomorrow. I apologize if this got a little bit long, but there's so much to look at. The one thing I will say is please like and subscribe if you do like what we're doing here. When it comes down to horse racing, there's so many opinions out there. I could tell you who I like, but you love somebody else, and I'm going to say go with who you love. Listen to you. Always open your ears and listen to others, because someone might know something that you don't like. Take Charge Milady having a bad foot. It may affect her, it may not. But always believe in yourself first and your selections, and especially if you get something in your gut. And you're never going to be right all the time, and you're never going to be wrong all the time. That's horse racing. This is Frank with Simply. I'm looking at Simply Joking, so I screwed that up. Again, I don't edit much, so if I screw up, I screw up. But anyway, this is Frank with Frankly Horse Racing. I hope you have a great day at the track. Churchill Downs is running again Tuesday. Be good. We'll talk to you soon when we do the Kentucky Derby. Bye-bye.